on the Texas A&M Sports Network. From Learfield, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue on Harvey Road in College Station. Welcome to the Aggie Volleyball Hour with Jamie Morrison. Brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. Memorial Hermann, proud supporter of Aggie Volleyball and the official healthcare provider of Texas A&M Athletics. And by Cotton Holdings. One call, one team, total recovery. Now the Aggie Volleyball Hour with Jamie Morrison.
Welcome to the Aggie Volleyball Hour, live from Rudy's Barbecue in College Station. I'm your host, Chelsea Reber, and I am excited to be joined by head coach Jamie Morrison tonight, along with outside hitters Emily Hellmuth and Kyndal Stowers. They'll be here in a little bit. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you guys, our live audience, for coming out tonight to the show. Coach, good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Yeah, it's been a little while since we've gotten to chat. First of all, congratulations on the 50th win. What a milestone.
Yeah, no, I was proud.
Yeah.
I had zero idea it was coming, and all of a sudden I saw some scheming going on.
Those are the best ones,
yeah.
right?
Apparently there was talks of like dousing me with water. So that got downplayed a little bit into just dancing around me, so I'm happy about that.
Okay, that's good. So you got to stay dry, because that kind of bus ride back home would not have been
100%,
fun.
yeah.
So I do want to talk about that 50th win, but before that, I actually want to go back just a little bit. Do want to cover the Kentucky match.
Oh, we have to.
Yeah, we have to. You guys fought hard, 4-set loss, third-ranked Kentucky. This is a team that personally I see could potentially make the Final Four. This is a very, very good volleyball team.
Ours and theirs, right?
Both, correct. Cool. Yes. But just so people understand how good that Kentucky team is, you came out obviously super hot winning that first set. But what is that kind of loss? Does that give your team still the confidence that they can go toe-to-toe with a team like Kentucky?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. I think it was the confidence that, hey, like we're right there. And then it was also hey, here's what we need to work on. And one of the things we don't want to over today is just, it's hard to pick apart our team right now. We're really good. Like, we're legitimately a top 8 team in the country right now. So it's like, all right, what are the things? And I think when it's said, it's one thing. When you can show, hey, these are the 4 plays that we need to make. And it's literally 4 plays. That's the difference in our game between, I don't know, being that Final Four or not. So we went over, 8 plays in that 4 set that I think we could have upgraded a little bit. We just needed 2 of them to go off and win. And if we get 4 of them, we're dominating. So I think it was a little bit of both. I think it was, hey, we're right there. And it was a little bit more of a roadmap of this is how we get there. So a little bit of both things.
You know, it's interesting taking a look, when you lost earlier in the season and the way you bounced back, and then this loss where it came in the schedule, and then being able to bounce back immediately on the road at Mississippi State. How important was that for your team?
It was huge. And the other thing I've been saying all week, the thing I was proud of wasn't the bounce back on Sunday. It was the bounce back on Friday. It was, we had a day off after that match, and we came back on Friday, and it was a little bit more of like, no, we need to have a sense of urgency of getting better. And I think that was a good step in the right direction. And I think what happened on Sunday was a byproduct of Friday and Saturday, and then we bled into that, and all of a sudden we were just playing good volleyball, and we're hard to beat when we're playing our game.
Let's talk about your freshman, Megan Fitch. Yeah, she came out, got some playing time, had a career-high 12 kills. She hit 346. She also had 2 aces in that match against Mississippi State. How proud of you were her performance? Yeah, there you go.
I got you. I picked up what you're putting down there. Yeah, I was, but not surprised.
Yeah.
And I've said it all year, whether it be talking to, people on TV, whether it be talking on this show and other places, just we're so deep with talent. And it's not just the 7 or 8 people that you see on the floor on a given Friday or a given Sunday. There's a lot of hard work going on behind the scenes and a lot of people improving and getting better, and she's one of those. So I was proud. I think she came out a little bit in one of those other matches and didn't quite show, I think, what she was capable of doing, but I think this is her. I don't think it's a career high, but I think it's the beginning of a very long, successful career. So I'm proud, but I'm also just happy that she got to show the world who she is as a volleyball player.
We've seen you go to your bench several times this year, in part because your starters have been so good. They've given you some leads where you're able to utilize that bench. Why is it important to give those bench players true game reps versus just what they're seeing in practice?
There's multiple layers to that. I think, one, they deserve it. I think, again, going back to the rising tide, like, it rises all ships. So, like, the amount of work that's going on behind the scenes, people only see this little, 2-day glimpse of it that happened on these matches, and they don't see everything in the grind that all 17 girls on the team are going through. And so I think there's a deserving piece. I think there's a preparation piece. both for something, I don't know if something happens this year or she needs to come into a match, or Taylor, same thing, or like any player on our program I could talk about in any of these positions. Just can you give them the experience just in case something happens, whether it be knock on wood injury or somebody's having an off night, they need to come in and be in that spot. And then the third one is just experience for the future. Of this, whatever I look at this program, it isn't just how can we be great this year, it's how do we sustain this, and in 4 years from now, how do we be in the same spot that we are right now, battling for a Final Four. And she's going to be a part of that future, as are the other people that have gotten reps in the spots that they might be in the future. So I think it's a combination of those three things.
I want to talk about another freshman who's making a big impact this year, and that's one of your littles, Addie Applegate. She reached 100 career digs on Sunday. What impresses you the most about her performance this year?
A lot. I think the first thing that popped into my mind was poise.
Yeah, she does not look like a freshman.
No, she doesn't play like it. And
no.
I just remember the Minnesota game especially. It was like, oh, you have this freshman on the court. Like, we're going to test her. Same thing for us with them. But it was like, oh, let's test them out and see what happens. And it was actually interesting because both freshmen actually stood up to the test. So I think there's a poise piece. And then I think just she's so steady and good at the things that, I don't know, people do. I think whenever they get a libero position, people are always amazed by the person that's standing in the wrong spot and sprawling out to the right and playing the ball with their pinky and popping it in. And she's just the person that's going to stand in the right spot and make it look super easy.
She makes it look easy.
Yeah, it's just smooth. And same thing in serve receive. It's just a skill that I don't think people value. And we just did a deep dive on some analytics stuff today, and we're the best passing team in the SEC. And she's a big part of that. But that's not just her; it's across the board. We're doing that skill really, really well, but she's a piece of that. So
congratulations. And that's definitely one that flies under the radar. People don't really understand, how, they see a serve, they see a good pass. It's all about the hit, right? It's all about the block. It's all about the flashy things that happen in the sport of volleyball, but it starts with that pass. It's so important.
If you do a deep dive, and like I'm so frustrated with college statistics, and I mean, international gets some of this right, but that serve and pass game is the most influential thing in the game. Like, how you start that rally sets up what's going to happen in the future. Yet we don't statistic it other than if the rally, I don't know, continued or if there was an ace. That's the only thing we pay attention to, not the quality of, hey, did this person pass the ball or did this server get them out of that? Like, so those two things need to be looked at in some way to give postseason awards and things like that, because it's so valuable to what we do.
Going back real quick, I promise this is the last time, to that Kentucky match. That was the first loss at home since November 3rd of last year. So there are obviously a lot of benefits to playing at home, but talk to me again about the impact of the 12th man, and especially what you've seen this year from the home crowd.
No, it's huge. And like, I think a lot of other people like flash attendance numbers. I wish there was like a metric on impact on the game.
Yeah.
Because we would blow that out of the water. And like, again, you're going like, I'm going to go back to Kentucky now. The only thing I'm really disappointed on is just I felt like that whole building was expecting that thing to go to 5.
Yeah.
And it was like this like palpable energy of like, all right, we're going to go to 5. And then all of a sudden it was like snap of like a finger. It was like, we're not going 5. And I think everyone was left being like, wait, what are we supposed to do now? Including myself. But I just think not only are we getting numbers in there, but it's making an impact on the game. And it's making, I'm going to be honest, it's making my life more enjoyable. Like, I love coming in there. I love the interactions with the student section. And there's times when I'm trying to act like I don't hear them because it's hilarious and I want to laugh, but it's not the time to laugh. It's like when your kid does something that you're supposed to be angry about, but like,
you're hearing everything I heard last year on
exactly.
the other side.
And it's entertaining.
Were behind the broadcast.
Yeah, you're trying to keep a straight face on the broadcast, but you're like, that's funny. And they're creative. And not only that, it adds energy when we're supposed to have energy, and I think it's huge. And it makes it, I think, and again, if I'm feeling that, I guarantee our players are feeling that all of a sudden it's like, all right, like, hey, what we're doing is meaningful, it's impactful, and so it's making a huge difference. So, and I think it's across the board. I think it's the entire building, and I don't know, there's a lot of push on like, hey, the student section got moved over there, but like the whole thing's growing in all different aspects of the audiences that we've created, and it's impactful, and it makes a difference on what we're doing.
Have you heard anything from any of the opposing coaches after the fact, after the match? Has anybody said anything about the student section?
Yeah, not the movement. It's more,
or just the crowd in general.
It's more a compliment. Yeah. Like, I've gotten those of like, man, this atmosphere is amazing.
Yeah.
So I haven't. I'm sure I might hear something about the student section at some point in the future, but But no, I think it's more just of a compliment. And like we had somebody out from the SEC offices, and she was like, "Man, this atmosphere is amazing." And I think that's the number one thing. And for me, it was a huge, important thing because I think you get this tipping point where you create this exciting atmosphere, and then people bring their friends and are like, "This atmosphere is amazing. I want to come back," and it starts to build on itself. And I think we're in that right now.
Awesome. Well, listen, you guys have a big weekend coming up at home. We're going to talk about that coming up. You're listening to the Aggie Volleyball Hour from Learfield. You're listening to the Aggie Volleyball Hour. Chelsea Reber here, back with head coach Jamie Morrison. Volleyball and barbecue lovers know the perfect brisket needs the right wood. Rudy's smokes all their meats using their delicious signature rubs in 100% oak-fired pits. Get your real Texas barbecue fix today at Rudy's or on the web at rudys.com. Coach, you are approaching the halfway point of SEC play. I want to talk positives. In what areas are you really excited about what your team is doing right now? Where are they meeting or even exceeding expectations?
Again, like just started looking at Joe, who's our director of analytics, kind of put together rankings and kind of some more advanced analytics that we look at that are not in our box score. And, I mean, we're first in passing efficiency. We're first in first ball siding out. We're first in our perfect pass offense and our medium pass offense. So the ability to pass, set, kill is like elite. And the next thing I'm having is like, all right, where does that stack up in the top 10 in the country? And I'm going to guess we'll be pretty high if we're above Texas and Kentucky in that category. So I think we talk a lot about superpowers within our program, about building upon those. So can we add some little wrinkles within that to even up that a little bit more? And can our passers get a little bit better? Can we game plan into the spot? Like we're going to see a couple jump spinners on Friday that hit the ball at some pretty good pace. So we'll have to game plan on that a little bit. But I think can we up that a little bit and then work on our transition game is the spot where kind of we outline of, hey, we got to get a little bit better in here in terms of our ability to run it, our ability to block and defend in that.
Talking about Friday, you guys have 2 home matches this weekend. First, you face Oklahoma on Friday night. Tell me what you know about the Sooners this year.
They're fast. They're probably the fastest offense that we're going to see in the SEC. I don't know that for a fact, but they run pretty quick out there. So having to adjust to that as we get in there. We've had a little bit of experience. I can't remember our non-con right now, but there's a couple teams in there that were really fast. So we have some experience with that, and our team's pretty experienced, and we had this with Arizona State last year too. So the speed, and then, like I said, the serving piece. Just a lot of our team, minus Afena, have like a jump float where she has a little bit of a spin with some pace, and they have a couple players that are going to put some pace on it like that. So just being able to manage that. Sometimes it's easier if you can game plan around it and kind of see where they're going to go. So we'll take a look at that probably tonight.
I had this question down the list, but since you brought it up, we're going to talk about it right now. Afena's new serve that she has broke out this year is absolutely lethal. And what's so impressive about it to me is the efficiency and the accuracy. She leads the team in service aces right now. I mean, she misses occasionally, but this thing is so good. Talk to me about when you guys started to figure out this could actually be a thing she can use in a game, and then the process of getting that serve game ready.
Yeah, I mean, we played on with Brenda with everybody. She's not the only one that has something similar. She's just got the one probably that like stuck with that phase of it a little bit more and has a little bit more pop on it than some others. But I spent the off season watching a lot of men's volleyball, and if you watch them, they're just playing around with not just spin, but giving it direction. And like the thing that probably like intricacy that people aren't really noticing is there's times when it is pure and it's spinning just, I don't know, straight, and there's times when it's hooking left or right. And that's on purpose. So just playing around with kind of what's going on in the men's game of, can we play around with direction with it a little bit and have it cut and have some do some different things, similar to how you're going to see baseball happen with the slider and with the fastball and two seam and like different movement patterns that you can get on the ball. We're trying to do something similar. And Maddie's got a pretty good one too. She's been playing around and she's stuck with a little bit more of the float with some pace, but if you'll notice, her ball is going to hook a little bit left to right. That's why we moved her over into zone 5 a little bit. So we were just trying to play around with, can we have some variance on our serving? And at the beginning of the season, we were probably a little bit higher because of it, and all of a sudden we've come down into about the 10% error. And I actually want us to up the velocity a little bit right now and see if we can get after those cuts and things a little bit more. So it's not just her, but like hers is really sunk in and it's become a weapon.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch, that's for sure. And I'm definitely glad that I'm just watching it and I'm not actually having to try and pass it. All right, then you guys have a quick turnaround. You face Arkansas on Sunday. That game is at home as well. Take us what Saturday looks like.
Yeah.
So when you have a game on Friday night and then, yes, you're home, but you got to turn around and play Sunday afternoon. What does that Saturday look like?
Yeah, balance, I think, is the right way to word it. It's a mixture of you need to prep for that next opponent. You need to get some, rest, like at a light impact, like low load for the people that got a lot of load on Friday. And then we spend a lot of time on injury prevention. So like one of the other things that we have to do is try to get some load for the people that didn't get load, because one of the worst things you can do is go from a little to a lot. So it's trying to balance those things out, and it's really hard. It's almost like a advanced calculus equation of like trying to get this thing right, of like, all right, we need to prep for this opponent that we have because we only have a day to go do it. And then we got to make sure that we're taking it easy on the people that got a lot and then giving a little bit more to the people that didn't.
You talked about your passing efficiency and how good it is as a team. Because of that, you are able to use your middles often, and which is a great thing. You've said this year you think you have the best middle duo in the country. Talk a little bit about Athena and Morgan and how they complement one another. They're so fun to watch.
It's interesting.
They're so fun to watch.
No, and I get that from a lot of people. Like, it's usually they wrap them up into two. It's like your middles are legit.
Yeah.
And they do complement each other extremely well. And I think the thing that's interesting is you got Athena, who's kind of this super powerful athlete, and you have Morgan, who's a super fast athlete. And I think those two things kind of attacking at you in the middle are like hard to defend, because you're kind of getting used to this like thundering power that comes, and then all of a sudden it's on you in a hurry from Morgan. And I think because of that, their efficiencies are probably going up because people just aren't used to what's coming in those three rotations. So complement each other extremely well. And I think the thing that I'm proud of is in the 3 years that I've been here that we've had them, they've turned into really good volleyball players.
Yeah.
And the beginning of the season, you were seeing Morgan serve quite a bit too, and she's got a pretty lethal jump float that comes out there. But they can both non-set or set. They can both play the entire game. But I think from an offensive standpoint, there's nobody that's close to them, in my opinion, 1-2 in the country.
Yeah, and I think because you hear so much about Athena and her numbers, Morgan almost gets to fly under the radar a little bit, and then she is sneaky good. Yeah. And I think more teams are paying attention to her now, as they should be.
She's second in the conference in hitting efficiency right now. Like,
you can't ignore her.
You can't ignore it. And I don't think people do in any way, shape, or form. Like, I think it's just one of those things where it's like when people come in, and again, like similar to the 12th man in our crowd that I hear about afterwards, people come up to me and they're just like, man, you're middles.
Yeah.
We're lucky and blessed to have them both.
Okay, so I got a chance to talk to Logan after one of the matches, and I asked her, I said, you do so many things really, really well. I said, what? But then I asked her, what is your favorite thing to do?
I'm curious.
And yeah, so she thought about it for a second, and she goes, it has to be a stuff block. That's her favorite thing. She goes, because not only, are you getting the point for your team, but you're getting in the head of the opposing player. What is your favorite thing to watch her do?
I would say across the board. This is immediately went to my head. I thought you were going to go like in general. I love it when our players are able to do something that we've been working on. So it's that, like, I don't know, we've added to their game in some way, shape, or form, and all of a sudden you see it on the floor when it matters. And like, I think those are always my favorite. So like, I'm sure there are a couple of examples of small things that people probably notice me like, why is Jamie so fired up about that? And it might just be this small little intricacy that we worked on that week. So I would say for her or anybody, it's, hey, like, I'll point to him and be like, that's it right there. So I think that's got to be mine.
On the show today, we're going to have Emily Hellmuth and Kyndal Stowers, so your outside hitters. Talk to me a little bit about them and what they're bringing to your program. Obviously, Kyndal new to A&M this year. Emily's been here for a little bit, but still just a lot of fun to watch these two play.
They were paying attention, and all of a sudden they perked up and started looking over here now. So I'm going to go back to, I think one of the things I'm proud of in our program is developing well-rounded volleyball players and well-rounded humans. So I'm going to go on both of those. Just as you're getting up here, you're going to hear from them on the human being side, and you'll see that. But just the ability to play the entire game and serve, pass, block, defend, they can really do it all. And one of my, things that I was trying to do when I came in here was develop human beings and develop volleyball players that can go off and play professionally if they want to be on this or have a career after this. And I think with them, you're going to see that. I think that's the thing that stands out the most is just well-rounded, and they can really perform every single skill. We're working on non-setter setting today. They're both elite at that too. So all 5 skills, they have them.
Coming up this weekend, again, Oklahoma, Arkansas. What do you need your team to do well this weekend so you guys can come away with 2 home match wins?
Yeah, I think build upon superpowers. We talked about that passing and first ball offense side of things. we've really talked, especially since that weekend up in the DFW area, just it's a lot about how we play on our side and being able to play our brand of volleyball with our personality and everything that goes along. So there's that piece of it. I haven't studied Arkansas as much. I'll probably get on them probably tomorrow. I said it earlier, but dealing with speed.
Yeah.
We got to be disciplined, and just with that, you have less time to go block and get over and be efficient there. You have less time to play defense, so you can't be wandering around the court. You got to be crisp with what you're doing, and then do the things we do really, really well, and then start to upgrade. And some of the stuff we're working on in practice, make sure we implement that, because it is a long season, and this is a little bit about winning this weekend, but it's a lot about us being really, really good in 2 months and 2 tournaments that we get to play in the SEC tournament for the first time ever, if anybody wants to head down to Savannah. And then the NCAA tournament, which I'm hoping we're building a resume to host those first 2 matches here. So hopefully people are prepped on that. And I think that's maybe the last weekend of November, first weekend of December. I should probably start getting those dates.
We'll do some date checks.
Yeah, if
just
you can,
to make
that'd
sure.
be great. But I think just keeping that in mind too, that we got to keep building towards that as we get to the end of the season.
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us today on the
pleasure.
Aggie Volleyball Hour. We'll let you go eat, and we'll get the girls on the headsets. All right. You are listening to the Aggie Volleyball Hour from Learfield. Welcome back to the Aggie Volleyball Hour. I'm Chelsea Reber, and now I am joined by outside hitters senior Emily Hellmuth and sophomore Kyndal Stowers. Girls, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Yes, happy to be here.
Yeah, so okay, both of you actually started your collegiate career somewhere else. Emily, you had 2 seasons at Pepperdine. I'm guessing that the weather and the gorgeous beach views were just disgusting, and so you decided to come back to Texas. Tell me a little bit about picking Texas A&M though, and why this was kind of the new home that you decided you wanted to make.
Yes, totally. I think my years at Pepperdine were really valuable, and I learned a lot, but I entered the portal looking for a place with a culture that felt like home. And so when I hopped on the call right away with Jamie, I immediately felt that sense of comfort and a level of care about you as a person that you don't always find in college athletics. And so I knew right away it was special, and then I came down here on my visit and I was just in awe. I grew up in Texas, but I had never been to A&M, and just all the tradition and culture and history, I loved it, and I just said yes right away. So it was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. And then Kyndal, your story's a little bit different. You started at Baylor. You medically retired due to an injury your freshman year. You took an entire year off of college volleyball, which a lot of people, if they've been paying attention to Aggie volleyball this year, they know the story. But talk to me about realizing you weren't done with the sport and that you really did want to come back. And then again, your decision to come to Texas A&M.
Yeah, so the medical retirement happened in April, May, at the end of what would be, I guess, a year and a half being there. I graduated early, so it gets a little funky, but there was the choice to either get in the portal that summer and transfer, but it had been a bit of a long year, one might say, after a few injuries and all of that had happened. So I knew that I wanted to take another semester and just train, get healthy, also fall back in love with the sport after so much heartache. And also coming back into playing in January is an easier way to ease into it and get to know a program and coaches and your teammates, because you get a whole spring semester before season starts. So I mean, it wasn't the easiest go around by any means. There was definitely days where I was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing that. Like, that obviously put me in this position, so maybe I just want to be done and just do school. But I prayed about it a lot, had a lot of conversations with my family, and ultimately just like knew the Lord wasn't done with my story yet, and that I loved the sport way too much to give it up. So yeah, I got back in the portal in December, and kind of the same situation. Wanted to go to a place that was home away from home. And my brother played football here first, so he was the first one to kind of dip his toes in the water and get to know the culture at A&M. And coming down to watch football games when he was playing here definitely changed my view of it. Not gonna lie, we were the family that called A&M a cult growing up, so it took him being brave enough to, I guess,
to try it out.
Yeah, seriously, to actually get involved in it. And yeah, I kind of fell in love with it when he was here, but obviously was committed to a different school. And so when I got back in the portal, all of those memories just kind of came back, and I knew it was definitely a place I couldn't say no to.
And obviously Eli ended up at Vanderbilt. He's having a great year. Their football team is. You're having a great year here at Texas A&M. How do your parents balance, like, Where are they going? Are they traveling a lot? Are they watching both of y'all?
Yeah, that's the fun part. I actually told my parents I was going to get them one of those digital calendars for Christmas because their schedule is crazy, and they're both coaches or teachers. Okay. So they obviously have work, and my dad has football games for his high school, and so he won't typically make my Friday games because he has his game, but one of them is always there. There was one game of mine that they'll miss all year, and that already happened, and I had a friend there, thankfully, so someone was there for me, but they make it to literally every single game. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
That's awesome, though. Yeah. That's really cool. You guys are ranked 10th in the country. Congratulations. That's awesome. 13-3 on the season. Emily, what makes y'all one of the best teams that this university has seen in a really long time?
Yeah, I think I could talk about this for a long time. I just think
we've got the time.
Yeah, we have the time. I think our team is extremely well-rounded, and I think our team is extremely deep. And I think having such a deep team often goes unnoticed because you don't see all the people getting into matches and you don't see them on your TV screen. But what everyone doesn't see is the practice gym and how many people are working their butt off every day to push each other, themselves, all the starters, etc., to like get better in every aspect of the game. And I think every single position on our team is so deep. And I think that there's, youngins pushing older kids and older kids who are experienced pushing other older kids. And I think the way we train in our gym, just so well-rounded. And I think we train every skill. No matter what position you are, you're working on setting, defense, blocking.
Y'all like to use those hands, okay?
Yes.
Everybody's a setter on this team, I swear.
Yes, we work on it a lot. We worked on it today. So I think what makes us special is our personnel. I think we have a lot of great kids. Jamie did a great job recruiting people, and I think you can't find that very many other places of such depth in every position.
Yeah, speaking of depth, Megan Fitch got to play quite a bit against Mississippi State on Sunday. Had a really, really nice game. Kyndal giving you a little bit of a rest. She comes in. How excited were you to see her have such a great match when she got that opportunity?
I was so excited. She's like my little sister. I love that girl, and she works so hard and just gets so excited at any opportunity that she's given and definitely uses it to literally every extent that she can. And I don't know, my favorite part about it was almost every time if she came off the court after she would serve or whatever, when she got subbed out, she would come over to me and be like, he's like, on that one ball was there? And I was like, no, that was great. Like, that was a perfect choice. And so she was just really happy at the learning opportunity also to be able to apply everything that she has been working on into a game. I was so excited for her.
Okay, let's talk hitting. I don't know if y'all are aware of this, but Emily, you have 169 kills on the season. Kyndal, you have 168. Okay, so you guys are neck and neck, which I think just goes to show how consistent that position is. I was talking with Jamie about Afena and Morgan, and like teams don't get a break because as soon as Afena rotates to the back, Morgan's coming in. It's the same thing with this outside position. Like once you go back there, Emily, you're in. Just talk about what you guys are seeing this season and just like how much fun you're having swinging on the outside.
Yeah, I can start. I think, like I said, we're so deep. Every position's like this. And so I think that's been one of our huge upgrades this year of just, if I was trying to do a scouting report against us, I'd be stressed because, you have weapons in every, position the whole game. And so I think we work really well together of, middles. If we feed them a ton, then our pins open up. And if we feed our pins a ton, then our middles open up. And then also like if Kyndal's on fire this game, then it's like, oh, that then opens up a few shots for me. And like we balance each other well. And I think that's just been super fun to kind of play off of Kyndal. And like we talk to each other a lot about what we're seeing and what we're working with, what we feel. Obviously, sometimes teams are going to do something different just depending on what they think that they should take away from us specifically. But just having her behind me in the back row as well, talking to me about what she's seeing as the play's developing has been super helpful for me this year. And yeah, it's just super fun. It's super fun. I think it's such a fresh energy and like intensity of just hungry for every point and trying to get as many kills as we can get. It's hard to explain, but it's been really awesome.
Kyndal, as an outside hitter, you get to swing at a lot of balls because you're getting everything that's also out of system sometimes. I know Logan gets to take care of a little bit of that even when she's on the back row. What is the toughest ball to hit? Anything that Afena
I would
says?
just say
No, I'm just kidding.
no. Actually,
She has great
yes,
hands.
her and Morgan. Anytime they set it, it ends up being a kill. It's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
They have like, oh my gosh, their assist count, I can't even imagine. I would just say honestly, any ball that like out of system takes you off the net because then your eyes go up. You can't see the block. You can't see the court. So you can't really use the feel of the game that you have because you're not there. You're not close enough to the net to be able to see all those things. And so then at that point, we in our gym talk about managing and just trying to cause as much chaos on their side as we can. So typically we'll tip it, roll it to the setter or something just to get them out of system so then they have the same problem to deal with. And then eventually we'll get a free ball back or something and we can get a kill off that. But yeah, definitely anything where you're going backwards, it's hard to get much power on that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we've got a lot more to talk about. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with Kyndal and Emily right after this. You're listening to the Aggie Volleyball Hour from Learfield. You're listening to the Aggie Volleyball Hour. Thanks to the generosity of 12th Man Foundation donors, Aggie student athletes have the resources to succeed at Texas A&M and beyond. Start your tradition of support today at 12thmanfoundation.com. We are back with Kyndal and Emily. Okay, let's keep going. Let's talk about the offense. Let's give some love to your setter, Maddie Walk, because I always tell people who are kind of new to volleyball, the setter is a lot like a quarterback. They're running the offense, they're calling the plays, they're making sure everybody's running the right routes. But unlike quarterbacks, setters don't get a lot of love because it's all about the kill, right? So tell me, we'll start with you, Kyndal. You know, what has it been like, especially as you're kind of newer to the program, what has it been like to come in and be part of Maddie Walk's offense?
Maddie Walk. Yeah, it's crazy. I think when I first got here, there would be certain balls where in my head, I would be like, okay, let me slow down. Like, this has to be a high ball. No way she can get her feet there. Like, no way she can. And then all of a sudden, she's running, like, tempo. I was like, oh, okay. So now every time I'm, like, expecting, even, like, on a bump set, now never in my life have I had a setter where if they go bump set, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a tempo ball. Like, normally it's always a high ball. And then even then, like, our middle, same idea. Like, as Emily was saying earlier, I can imagine having to scout our team because Maddie's 10 feet off the net. Most other teams, you would be like, okay, it's going to a pin, and then she finds our middle. So then it leaves a lot of room for us to swing because the other team has to focus so much on our middles when Maddie is where she is, which is just crazy. That line, like the load line is what we call it, comes so far off the net with Maddie because she just has this crazy ability to find her hitters. And I love it, obviously. It makes my life really easy. But yeah, no, it's genuinely been such a blessing having her.
Emily, talk to me a little bit about the communication. Play is called before the serve, and then like depending on how long the rally goes and things get chaotic. We've all seen it. What kind of communication and how does that work between the hitters and Maddie?
Yeah, I think it's something that's developed over time of just playing together and getting those experiences together. Some of it starts to become second nature of just, oh, in that situation we tend to do this. But I also think we talk a lot about, communication is incredibly important to our sport and things change and you're going to need to be able to talk about it. So I think oftentimes the hitters are the ones communicating to Maddie if they need more time, if they need more height, if they, got slower in transition or were taken out by a certain attack. I also think Maddie does a really good job of looking at us and she reads the plays that's going well. Like if I'm down on the ground, like she's not ever going to try and set me there. Like, and some setters don't see that. Well, actually that happened to Kyndal the other day.
Yeah, she's done that twice.
It's because she knew you would get up and swing, girl. Yeah.
Somehow it was a kill. Yes. Yeah, it was crazy.
So I think it's also just like a lot of built-in trust with our team, and I think a lot of our team has so much experience together, and so I think that's like a strength of ours. But I also think, you just have to open your mouth and say what needs to happen.
Yeah. As an outside hitter, you both get to block with Afena and Morgan. Tell me how they have made y'all better blockers.
Yeah,
if they have.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, they read the game really well, and so there will be balls like we might not line up perfectly on the hitter, and so then they'll see that and they'll dive back into that shot that we probably should have been lined up on. But then it's easy for us to notice that and be like, oh, okay, like next ball, like, hey, I'll come back in and close to you or make a better lineup so that you can close to me instead of having to read the play. But I think that honestly, it makes the team better because a lot of middles can be very one-sided, but they read the game so well and are so just like athletic, like that they can do all of these things that honestly I feel like a lot of people can't quite do at the high level that they do.
Emily, you've gotten to play with them a little bit longer. Talk about also just the progression that both of them have made as middle blockers and as volleyball players.
Yeah, they're ballers, and I also think just like as people too, as humans, like as I've gotten more time with them and just been able to get to know them better, I think it's been so cool to watch their journeys. And I think those are two extremely hard workers, and everyone on our team has so many different personalities, so it takes a long time to figure it out, but they're both extremely motivated, want to be extremely successful, and want this team to be good. And I think that both of them are a huge driving factor of constantly pushing ourselves to be better in the gym. And I think Afena is probably more vocal about that, but Morgan is like the quiet worker who always is going to come in and do her best and like get the reps in and push you to be better as well. And so I think, both of them just over the year, I've loved getting to be with them. And I think that they've made me better as a blocker, as a player, as a teammate, and also just like our whole team.
Volleyball is such a team sport, but over the years, players have really been able to kind of show their individual personalities in a lot of different ways. Emily, I want to talk about your hair. Okay. If anybody's watched Aggie Volleyball, Emily always has one of the best hairstyles. Talk to me about how you decide how you're going to style it. And then does anyone help you?
Okay. I have to give all credit to Amari, my teammate. I love that girl. She's just one of my sweetest friends. But when she got here last year as a freshman, we kind of slowly started doing hair. So we were off to like a slow start. We were getting to know each other. But now like she calls the shots. She's doing she does the hair. She chooses what we do, all of that.
Okay.
So I can tell you for our gold out game, we will be doing yellow bows.
Okay.
That's going to be expected. But yeah, I think it's just been a fun way to be creative, show personality, and also just like still be a girl, in sports. And she's awesome, and I just love spending that time with her.
Yeah, it always looks really, really good.
Thank you.
Kyndal, take me through your game day routine. What does a typical game day look like for you?
It's actually funny because I'm not the most routine person when it comes to game day. I'm not.
Okay.
I try to not be superstitious because I think that makes me get in my head. If one thing goes wrong, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a bad game.
Yeah.
So my routine for the most part is, okay, I'll get up early. Depends on what time the game is. But if we're home, I have a friend that works at Polite Coffee, so I'll normally go there, hang out with her for a little bit, grab a coffee, and then I'll get to read fairly early. Start, warming the body up, doing treatment, whatever I can do to be ready for the game. And then at that point, we have like game day serve and pass and all these things. I'll normally listen to like worship music of some sort because when I'm like super high or low emotionally is when I'm not like in the mindset that I want to be in for a game. So if I just play like, simple, like chill stuff that I know every day where I can just be my normal self, it's kind of when it goes the best. So yeah, it's really nothing crazy. I'm just pretty chill. And then before the game, we'll normally sit in the training room and talk a little bit about whatever comes to mind that day. It's always really random. So that's always a highlight. But yeah, nothing crazy.
Well, listen, doing media, coming on the radio, it's not always easy for everyone. You two have been great, but I'm still going to reward you. I'm going to ask you a few questions about your teammates, okay? And this is a little rapid fire because we're wrapping up. Who has the worst singing voice?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no. Maybe Maddie. Maybe me, but maybe Maddie.
Maddie just doesn't sing very much.
Yeah. So when she
I feel like a
does
lot of our team is constantly singing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Who has the messiest locker area?
Morgan Perkins.
No hesitation.
She'll tell you that herself. She would agree.
Whose food order is always the most difficult?
Well, Maddie.
Maddie.
Not like in a bad way, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll finish with a good one. Okay. Who is constantly making everybody laugh?
A lot of people.
Yes, we have a really funny team.
Yes, across
honestly,
the board.
Amari's
always really funny.
So much.
I feel like the freshmen in general, like Megan is really funny. And then Morgan, gosh, that girl. When Morgan gets on a roll, it is so funny every single time. And Maddie. Yeah. Maddie's a silent killer. She just makes comments that are really funny.
And Taylor.
And
Taylor Humphrey.
It's really, it's like, it depends on the day. I feel like everybody at some point is the joker.
Awesome. Well, girls, thank you all so much. Emily Hellmuth, Kyndal Stowers, good luck this weekend with your 2 matches at home. Hopefully you guys have an awesome crowd like we had tonight at Rudy's. I appreciate you guys joining me.
Thank you.
All right. You are listening to the Aggie Volleyball Hour from Learfield. Welcome back to the Aggie Volleyball Hour. We are going to wrap things up with head coach Jamie Morrison. Thanks for hopping back on. The girls did absolutely wonderful. They were great, super entertaining.
I'm not surprised.
So Friday, it's actually Turn It Gold night at Reed Arena. I know you talked to media earlier this week. Tell everybody here and everybody listening what this is and kind of why you guys decided to choose this philanthropy.
Yeah, I think there's programs where kind of you do the same thing every single year. And for me, I want our players to choose something that they're passionate about, that they want to support, because it's their time and their energy. And so we've kind of done that. And I think the first year it was for veterans on campus, and then these last 2 years we've turned to Turn It Gold. And it's basically not in support of pediatric cancer, in support of fighting pediatric cancer. But it's something that our players have been really passionate about, that they've latched onto, and it's something we've decided to do for a second year in a row.
So new Turn It Gold long sleeve volleyball shirts will be available for purchase on the concourse. If you come out to Reed Arena, all proceeds will go to the Turn It Gold organization. It's also camper reunion. I want to ask you real quick about Amari, because this was a camper kid who you guys actually kind of discovered at an Aggie volleyball camp one summer. So I love that. Free admission to all 2025 volleyball campers. I was a camper kid. I grew up going to A&M camps. Absolutely loved it. This is really cool that you guys let all the campers come back and get free tickets for this game.
Yeah, no, and it's a huge piece of our program. And we spent a lot of the summers kind of getting to know the kids that are in this community, and to get them all to come back. And I think that a lot of them have been back. You see people show up in a T-shirt all the time, and we tend to get close to them during camp. So it's kind of a reunion every single weekend, but it's nice to have everybody back at once.
Tickets must be claimed in advance, so make sure to visit 12thman.com/promotions to claim those tickets. It's also Faculty and Staff Appreciation Night. We talk a lot about the 12th man. Talk about the support of the school that you guys get from Texas A&M.
It's huge. And like I went to a school that didn't have, I don't know, this fan base around athletics, and it's something that I felt like I was always missing, that I was like, I always wanted to be a part of. So for me, I'm grateful again for the audience that shows up, but just for the support that the school shows just in general. And I think it's a healthy balance. I think there's some schools where it's all athletics and like we don't care about the academic side. I feel we do a really good job here at balancing. So to our faculty and staff that are coming out, I'm appreciative of like pushing our athletes to meet a standard that is rigorous for this university, but at the same time understanding that they have, difficult life with the schedule that they lead, and giving some flexibility within that. So I do think it's a healthy balance here, and I'm really, really appreciative, and I'm happy we get to have them come out and experience what we're all about.
Yeah, Faculty and Staff Appreciation Night, discounted general admission tickets available for all faculty and staff in advance. Again, visit 12thman.com/promotions. Friday, Oklahoma, 6:30 first serve. Matt Simon and I will be on the call for SEC Network Plus, but hopefully everybody gets to actually come out to Reed and experience that game. Then on Sunday, first serve is at 2 p.m. That's the game against Arkansas. This is kind of fun. It's Rev It Up for volleyball.
Yeah,
you get to enjoy fun race car themed activities and giveaways at the match. And the first 1,000 kids, you have to be 12 and under.
Oh, you do?
Sorry.
Oh.
You will receive a free Texas A&M toy race car. How cool is that?
Andy's going to be one of the first 1,000 there. I know that. So
you better be. Absolutely.
I'll probably get it. I might steal that one from her, but it seems like it's a really cool promotion that we're running.
All right. Well, Coach, listen, thank you so much for joining us today. For Caleb back at the studio and our engineer, Kevin, I'm Chelsea Reber. Thanks to our live audience here at Rudy's Barbecue for coming out tonight. Thank you for tuning in to the Aggie Volleyball Hour. Join me for the next one, Wednesday, October 29th. Mark it down. This has been the Aggie Volleyball Hour from Learfield.